Johnson Space Center, the home of human spaceflight and home to more than 10,000 dedicated men and women who work here. This isn't an exhibit or a theme park. This is the real thing. I'm Gene Cernan, Apollo astronaut. It is with great pride and pleasure that I welcome you on this tour. What makes the Johnson Space Center special is that the elite men and women who go into space work live and train here. What makes us successful is the teaming of the astronauts and the people who support them. From the largest indoor underwater training facility in the world to the operation of the largest orbiting science laboratory, the International Space Station, Johnson Space Center has always been on the leading edge of discovery and innovation. I was the last human ever to set foot on the moon, but not for long. Right here and now, the men and women of JSC are working on a new generation spacecraft for human spaceflight. It is indeed an exciting time to be here. On this tour, you will share and experience the spirit and the history that is the Johnson Space Center.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills.
John F. Kennedy gave this rousing speech at Houston's Old University in 1961. Spurred by then Vice President Lyndon Johnson, the university had donated this land for construction of a new NASA center. NASA's brain trust and some carefully selected fighter pilots set up shop in these humble buildings. It was built to look like a college campus, with a spirit of collaboration and innovation, a tradition that continues today. We're now approaching Rocket Park. Take a closer look at the rockets on the way back. For now, take yourself back to the year 1967. The Monkees' I'm a Believer was a #1 single, but the political climate was not so upbeat. 500,000 American soldiers were stationed in Vietnam, and tensions of the Cold War were running high. The space program was under immense pressure to get a man to the moon before the end of the decade. On January 27, 1967, tragedy struck the Apollo program. Flight Director Gene Kranz remembers that day.
We were in mission control, testing the Apollo command and service module. The test that day hasn't been going very well. We had problems with communications, we had problems with life support.
A flash fire broke out in the command module. Four astronauts, George Gus Grissom, Eddie White, and Roger Chappie died in the accident.
And we learned two words into our vocabulary in mission control: tough and confident. Tough meaning we will never get shirked from our responsibility because we are what we do. In the case of Apollo 1, what we failed to do. Confident. We're never going to take anything for granted because as we read, failure in mission control is never an option.
Up ahead and to your right is Building 17.
This building houses the project office for Project Orion, which is America's next generation space transportation system. In this building, the design work that will ultimately lead to that spacecraft is being conducted. The team here is leading a nationwide group of engineers from across NASA and the contractor community developing this next generation of systems. It's a really exciting time for everybody involved, and we're all thrilled to be a part of it.
This building also houses the kitchens where the food is prepared for space flights. Space food isn't as futuristic as you might think. The astronauts eat a combination of fresh food like fruit and breads with some freeze-dried or specially prepared meals like spaghetti with meat sauce. Coming up on your far right is historic Mission Control, home of the Gemini and Apollo programs, Skylab, and all of today's space shuttle missions. Appropriately enough, Mission Control is at the heart of Johnson Space Center.
My job was to take any actions needed for crew safety and mission success.
Gene Kranz was flight director for many of those historic missions. In the movie Apollo 13, Gene was played by actor Ed Harris.
I had a team of between 15 and 21 controllers. These controllers have the responsibilities for the space system, trajectory operations, planning, facility operations. We had a medical doctor and an astronaut who provided the communications link between the ground team and the crew.
Back in July of 1969, Kranz's team of controllers gathered in Mission Control, with astronaut Charles Duke in the position of capsule communicator. As the lunar lander neared the surface, the mood was tense.
Getting down to the lunar surface was a battle. We had problems with communications, we had problems with our navigation, and as we got down close to the surface, we were running out of fuel. At the time that we touched down, we had less than 17 seconds of fuel remaining, and we were in the process of counting down to a very difficult and very risky land abort decision.